To get a taste of Denmark close to home, just head to western Iowa and look for an old-fashioned wooden windmill. You can't get more Danish in Iowa than Elkhorn and Kimbalton, where there's a mermaid, a menu item called frikadeller, memorabilia from entertainment legend Victor Borge, and a windmill that stands 60 feet proud. Willkommen! I'm here speaking with Lisa Steen-Riggs, the general manager of the Danish Windmill in Elkhorn. And Lisa, tell me about the history of this wonderful attraction.
Well, it is a great attraction. We actually are an authentic Danish windmill from Denmark that was built in 1848, and it came from Nørresnede, Denmark. And it was kind of one man's crazy idea, we ought to have a windmill from Denmark.
Tell me, how did they disassemble something and put it back together here in Iowa?
Well, it wasn't easy. Thank goodness for the carpenter in Denmark. As he tore it down, he marked each piece, and then he made this model, and it's on a scale of 1 to 10 and put the same markings on the model. So that was our blueprint. It took our people 1 year. We had over 300 volunteers and a total of $100,000, and it took them 1 year to rebuild it, and they built it to working condition.
After 165 years, this windmill can still grind grain, provided the wind is blowing. Some of the grain, ground into flour, is sold in the adjacent gift shop. I wanted to learn more about the Danish culture and how so many immigrants ended up in this part of Iowa. So no better place to go than the Danish Immigrant Museum.
Tradition has it that some of them got to western Iowa to the boundary with what was then Indian territory in the late 1840s, 1850s. Then in the 1870s, that's when the large migration begins here.
John Mark says with the development of steamships, the travel time for Danes coming to the U.S. was cut to 10 days to 2 weeks.
You could take what you could pay for. And so that was part of the issue as well. But so most of them took maybe a chest, maybe several immigrant chests, and we have a number of those in the exhibit. And in that chest would, of course, be packed probably mostly textiles, sheets, clothing, that sort of thing.
Since it was founded in 1983, the museum has accumulated some 35,000 artifacts, from Danish porcelain to pins from various fraternal organizations. In 1976, the Queen of Denmark gifted what's called a China chair by renowned Danish designer Hans Wigner. Among the more unusual items, cast molds from the short-lived vintage Madsen automobile, built by a blacksmith in Council Bluffs. On a musical note, we're told this piano was the very first one ordered by 20th century Danish-American pianist and humorist Victor Borge.
However, when we received it, it could not be played. First of all, they found water damage still in the soundboard from Hurricane Hugo. Then, to celebrate the centennial of his birth in 2009, we had it restored.
You know, this community has done a great job of preserving history. But some here are also exposing us to modern Danish trends. In several locations around Elkhorn, there are electric car recharging stations.
You can go to Copenhagen on the island of Samsø or the island of Aarhus, and you can find electric vehicles there. The windmill is brought back from Denmark. And what we're doing is trying to bring technologies back from Denmark relating to a variety of renewable energies. An electric car is one of these. We're a little ahead of the curve, but as the field of dreams, if you build it, they will come. So in the future, we'll be having more vehicles coming.
Let's see. I've seen Danish technology and history. How about some Danish food? On the highway into Elkhorn is the Danish Inn, known for its smorgasbord. Oh, everything looks great, but I think I'm going to hone in on the Danish specialties in particular. I know red cabbage when I see it.
If you are not as hungry for the buffet, we also have a number of small broad. It's open Danish open-faced sandwiches. We have the beef with remoulade. We also have the frikadiller. The roast pork has the red cabbage over the top of it. We also have our beef with horseradish. This is the Danish cheese Havarti, and we got a couple of red peppers and some radish over the top here as well. Last but certainly not least is our Danish dessert, and this being one of our most popular one, this is our Danish kringle. It is a very light, flaky puff pastry dough with a very rich almond cream through the center.
Yum. From food to technology to history. I've learned a lot about the Danes today, but I want to make just one more stop. A few miles north of Elkhorn, in the town of Kimbalton, is a bronze, full-size replica of the Little Mermaid. Just like the one that reposes in Copenhagen Harbor, one of Denmark's most popular tourist attractions. And to think, I didn't even have to board a plane and travel some 4,300 miles to experience my taste of Denmark.